Gareth, let's think a little bit about how people engage with learning. And I've got the skeptical side of my brain sometimes thinks that people feel that they're too busy to learn. I remember one organization I was speaking with many years ago, I think it was in the financial sector. They wanted to do what we would normally spend a couple of days doing in 2 hours. They truthfully believed that they were smart enough to be able to learn everything that we would have, done with that group over 2 days and 2 hours. And what they didn't get, bluntly, is that change of behavior, which is ultimately why people are learning in our industry, training to do something different. Change of behavior doesn't happen in the head. It has to happen through engagement and through activity. People have to apply what they learn. What's your experience of the kind of too busy to learn challenge that we face, from time to time?
Yeah, it happens all too often, and you often get people saying, "Oh, this took too long," or "I've done this before," or "I've had 20 years experience." And I often retort, well, have you had 20 years experience or 1 year repeated 20 times? There's a difference between those two things. And I guess the analogy I always use is, if you think about, sports people, for example, the top sports people are always looking for ways to, improve their performance. Not many of them would win the championship and then say, oh, those skills and capabilities that won this year's championship are going to be okay for next year. That doesn't generally translate into success next year. But yet in business, all too often, that is the attitude that people turn up as.
So how do we break that cycle then? So I've got a view that leaders in an organization are critical to this success, and their behavior as a result of that will influence the way that people show up. But from your experience, how do we break that cycle and actually, make it work?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's lots of things here, but I think let's just go for that leaders first. At the end of the day, as a leader, you want to be modeling the behavior that you want your people to do. And if you're not, then too often, training and developing people is something that's done to people as opposed to do with people. So you create that culture, which we've spoken about before. I can just recall some of the best examples where, I can think of some individuals of people who have come onto our programs and maybe have done it like 4 or even 5 times, but they're still coming up knowing they're there to learn. Yeah, okay, they know the concepts and things like that, but they also recognize the fact that, look, A, they're modeling the behavior, B, they're going to pick some stuff up because they're going to be, if you're practicing and working with colleagues, 9 times out of 10, there's something, a different angle or something that you haven't really thought about. There's a learning experience in there. And, critically, as a leader, you are setting the learning example. If you're not, why on earth would anybody turn up with a mindset that was going to be positive?
I think one of the most illuminating things you've said there, Gareth, is around it's not something you do to people. You don't train people in terms of, it's not something that you sign up to an organization to do. You need to embrace it. And that leaders first, so leaders taking the initiative around it and truly embracing it and expecting it is going to be a critical part of the success.
Absolutely.